Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming in to watch this video. I'm hoping you guys are having a great Friday. It's the weekend. So we're going to take a look at a couple of stories that we do have two actually from Bitdeer and Hut 8. And then we'll take a look at the Bitcoin miners as far as the performance over October, give them a grade based on 6 and 8 metrics. We'll go through that and we'll take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin and some of the miners here at the end of the video as well. And we'll call it a day. Okay. So pretty easy day today. I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, it's not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. I'm invested in the following companies for full disclosure. I have added Iris Energy in here as I said I would. So that's in there now. I did buy 100 more shares today of CleanSpark and Iris Energy for full disclosure. So got in a little bit more. And let's take a look at what's going on here. So if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitdeer. So Bitdeer is going to be launching an Asia-based cloud service built on NVIDIA's DGX SuperPod. Basically, they're getting into AI, which just seems to be like the trend right now in this year with companies getting into it. You got Hut 8, you got Hive, you have also Iris Energy. Who else is getting into it? There's a couple other ones that are getting into it right now. I'm forgetting though. But there's a couple companies, obviously, Iris Energy is getting into it as well. They're doing something towards that as well. So you're seeing more and more companies get into this field. I think they are trying to diversify some of their income. Not just to be dependent on Bitcoin price where it goes, but also to have something that's more steady income stream going forward. Okay, I have no buts about this right now. We'll see how this goes going forward. This press release is a little light on specifics. I'll show you guys what I mean here. But here's what they had to say. You guys can read this whole thing. I'm not going to get into it here. But Bitdeer today announced that it has become a preferred cloud service provider in the NVIDIA partner network and plans to launch Bitdeer AI Cloud. Among the first cloud service providers provided by NVIDIA DGX SuperPod with DGX H100 systems in the Asian region. The service will provide Bitdeer's customers with access to NVIDIA AI supercomputing to help them accelerate their development of generative AI large language models, LLMs, and other AI workloads. Their customers currently are Bitcoin miners. They don't have any customers right now that are using AI. Okay, so that's a little bit misleading there. Going down here, you can read all of this stuff down here, and there's really not much news as far as how much are they paying for this, how much are they spending, which facilities this is going to go into, how are they going to be doing this going forward. So it's a little light on specifics, right? This is just kind of like their entry foray into this kind of market here. They don't have all the details, I think, figured out just yet, but they know they want to get into it. Once they have all the details maybe figured out, they will maybe provide some specifics as far as where are they going to be located at? Are they going to be building new facilities for this? How much is it going to cost? We'll see if they provide how much they cost, but then how much does it cost to buy the machines? What are they paying for that? And going forward, we'll see how they actually are able to generate revenue from this, okay? Right now, it's like everybody's hopping on this bandwagon with AI, and we'll see where it takes them. I think it might be a pretty good bet, but we'll see down the road. It's still going to take a little while for that to all work out. Okay, next, here, Hut 8 announces effectiveness of registration statement on the Form S-4 in connection with the merger with the U.S. Bitcoin Corp. So this just tells us that the SEC has approved it, basically, The registration statement on Form S-4, initially filed with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission by New Hut as amended, the registration statement was declared effective by the SEC on November 9th. So that's good there. So that's one hurdle that they've gotten over. They still have a couple more hurdles to get over to get to the finish line here. And the couple main ones still looks like is going to be with USBTC stockholders' approval. So the transaction is expected to close by November 30th. So that's only, 20 days away right now, subject to USBTC stockholder approval and other customary closing conditions. So maybe at that point they'll close on it, and then we'll finally get maybe some good numbers from them going forward, especially as we get into 2024. The Q1 numbers will be interesting to see how they have merged together and what the costs are for everything for the combined companies. What's the revenue like? We'll get a better picture of how the company's going to be operating at this point, at that time. Right now, it's a little bit of a mystery, so we'll get a better picture at that point. All right. So that's it here. Let's take a look at my spreadsheet here that I have for the miners as far as their October 2023. We're going to look at the top 5 Bitcoin miners for operations. This is going to be based on 6 and 8 metrics. So the 8 metrics include month-over-month hash rate growth. So we're looking to see how well they're growing, continuing to grow into this halving event. Current hash rate, where that's at. Bitcoin per exahash efficiency, right? So how efficiently are they operating? Month-over-month BTC mined percentage. Are they increasing their BTC mined month-over-month, which means that they're growing a little bit better than the network hash rate is potentially. BTC mined in general, days mined, so operations uptime on that one. We're going to look at also HODL, what is their current HODL, and then BTC percentage sold, how much are they selling of their production here. And then the 6 metrics, get rid of the HODL position and the actual hash rate, I believe, current hash rate that they're going to have. So we grade them all on that. We give them a score. Best ones get a 1. Worst ones get like a 15, 16, however many miners we do have in here. I don't have Core Scientific in here because they're still going through bankruptcy, so I didn't include them in here. Other things to note is Mawson and Stronghold have not provided their production updates yet. Mawson is in here, but I gave them like basically zeros for everything, or the worst number possible because they haven't provided it. And Stronghold's not in here. I just took them out, and then I was just too lazy to take out Mawson because it would have required a little bit more work. So just so you know. Okay, the 6 metrics include everything except, like I said, current hash rate and BTC HODL here, and we're getting a score for that as well. Okay, so here's the charts down below. We'll go through them one by one. Month over month percentage hash rate growth. Higher is obviously better here. So Riot increased their hash rate by 9.9% from one month to the other, which is nice. CleanSpark increased there by 4.21%. Bitfarms by 3.32%. Iris Energy by 2.03%. And Hive by 1.56%. Marathon by 0.52%. Okay, so those would be basically the top 5 there for the month of October as far as increasing their hash rate. Everybody else was pretty much flat on the month with 0% down below. Okay, current hash rate, where everybody is at. Marathon obviously is the top one here that we were tracking right now at 19.2. Core Scientific would be number 2 if they weren't in bankruptcy. They'd be like at 15-something exahash for their self-mining. But right now we got Riot at 11.7 exahash. And then we got CleanSpark at 10 exahash. Bitfarms at 7.2 exahash. Bitdeer at 7.2 exahash. Bitfarms at 6.3. And then followed by Cypher at 6.25, something like that right now. So those would be the top 5 for that. BTC per exahash efficiency. There's a caveat to this one here. DigiHost reported a lot more Bitcoin than they should have actually mined. I think it's they're reporting also maybe some of the hosting that they're doing with the Bitcoin mined and possibly the value of the curtailment that they would get in credits for Bitcoin or for energy that they curtailed on, right? Because there's no way they're going to be at 86.75 BTC per exahash efficiency on this. So this is a little flawed. They came in number 1. I let it be. But we've seen this before as well, and I don't like it. I got to figure out what's going on with DigiHost as far as the numbers there because they do not make sense with all the machines that they do have running right now. There's no way that they should be mining that many Bitcoins, okay? So they are number 1 spot right now, but that might be a little bit different depending on what they actually mined with their self-mining, okay? Hive came in at 68.28, Iris Energy at 65.96, so the 3rd spot, Bitdeer in number 4 spot with 64.17, and then CleanSpark in the 5th spot with 63.27, so those are the best performing there. And then obviously you got mentions there, honorable mentions of Bitfarms, TeraWolf as well, doing really good. Marathon actually climbed up quite nicely here. In the past, they were a little bit lower than that, towards the bottom more or less, because they did curtail in the summer months more. And then Riot, obviously, is the last one here because they do curtail a lot, but they do get credits for the electricity that they do curtail. Okay, month over month BTC mined percentage. This looks at the ones that have increased their BTC mined, basically the rewards that they were generated month over month. Excuse me. Riot came in number 1 here. So 26.52% increase in the BTC that they mined. They also curtailed less, which is obviously what's driving that growth there. And they increased more hash rate, so that's the reason there. DMG was up 12.98%. Same thing, they curtailed less. DigiHost, same thing, I'm guessing, curtailed less based on the numbers that I have for them. And then we got Argo, or Sphere 3D, excuse me, up 8.81%. Argo up 5.15%. Cypher up 2.88%. So those guys have done the best here for month-over-month BTC gains. The ones down below obviously did worse. They're actually negative, so they weren't growing that much in hash rate or curtailing the same amount or less, depending on how you want to look at it on that one. Okay, and then we go down here to BTC mined actually for the month. So Marathon came in number 1 here at 1,184. You got CleanSpark at 633. Then Bitdeer is in 3rd spot with 462, beating out Riot at 458. And you got Cypher with 428. And then in 6th spot, you could say Bitfarms at 398 and Iris Energy at 376. So those are the top ones there. Everybody else is below that. Days mined here, we got a bunch of miners here that are basically tied for first place. We got Hive, CleanSpark, Iris, Bitfarms, DigiHost, and Cypher, and well, Bitdeer's below that. So we got 5 miners basically. Is that 5, 6 miners that are tied for first spot. Then you got Bitdeer, TeraWolf, Marathon, and BitDigital in there as well. Those are the kind of top 5 right there. Or this would be actually top 11, I guess you could say. And this is important because you can tell if they're going to be able to mine. More uptime obviously means more BTC generated. So that's always important to take a look at. HODL, we'll take a look at that. Marathon right now has the most HODL with 13,396, followed by Hut 8. They have 9,113 as of October numbers, right? Riot at 7,345. CleanSpark with 2,311. They've obviously improved that recently here in the last couple of months. They've been adding a heck of a lot of Bitcoin to their stack. They did sell like 500 some Bitcoin here in October, and then I think that's mainly because they needed to pay for the is it 10% or 20% down on the S21 miners that they purchased. So that's the reasoning behind that, I believe. And then you got also Hive there at 2,032, and that would be the top 5 right there. Okay. And other players down below sell pretty much everything that they mine or are actually selling more than they have on hand right now. Okay. And then BTC percentage sold. So we're looking to see how much of the production for the month of October did they actually sell. So we want to keep that below 100% as much as possible. That's always better because that way you're adding into the HODL position, especially as we get into the halving event, right? With Bitcoin possibly going up to 100, 150, 200,000, wherever it might be. That HODL is definitely going to go up in value for them nicely, which then can be used later on. Once you start getting towards the highs, you can start selling that and using that to grow into the next bear market halving event and things like that. So it's kind of cyclical. If it stays cyclical, this is kind of what you would expect. You would want the miners to do this, is sell into the peak and then buy, new machines in the bear markets and things like that to get ready for the next halving event going forward. But here's what we got. Bitfarms sold the least. They only sold 85%, followed by CleanSpark at 88%. Riot sold 96%. Hive, DigiHost, Iris Energy, TeraWolf, Bitdeer all sold 100%. So basically whatever they mine. And then you got Sphere 3D sold 107%, Argo 107%, Cypher 108%, DMG 111%, Marathon sold 127%, Hut 8 sold 325%. So they sold a heck of a lot more, but they stated in their release that they were selling the coins mined in or from July, August, and September and October. I believe that's how they worded it. They sold those. So they had 3 months of coins that they were holding on to and then selling, I guess, in October. BitDigital was 377%. And Mawson, I just put it in 600% just to give them the worst number here possible. Okay. Based on all of this, we can go down here. So the scores based on the 8 metrics. We got the following top 5 miners here. We got CleanSpark coming in with 27 points, which is obviously the best. Lower is better on this point. Bitfarms, number 2 spot. Ride, number 3 spot. Marathon, number 4 spot. Cypher, number 5 spot. And then you got everybody else down below or to the side of that. You got Hive, Iris, Bitdeer, DigiHost, TeraWolf, Argo, Hut 8, Sphere 3D, DMG, BitDigital, and then Mawson coming in last year, obviously because they haven't reported. Okay. Now when we look at the actual scores based on 6 metrics, so that doesn't include the HODL position or the actual hash rate right now, we still have CleanSpark coming in at number 1, Bitfarms at number 2, Iris at number 3, DigiHost in Iris and DigiHost are kind of tied for number 3 spot. Bitdeer came in at number 4 spot. And then Riot came in at number 5 spot based on the performance here for the month of October. All right. So these metrics always help out in guiding at least me in which miners I want to get into. And you guys obviously know that I'm into CleanSpark, Bitfarms, and Iris as well. But I still think that like Riot and Marathon are really good miners as well. They did really well last cycle. I think they're going to probably do really well as well this cycle coming up. So this metrics and then the quarterly metrics that we also take a look at and some of the other metrics that we use here, it's all in combination to kind of give me a better picture as far as how the miners are performing month to month, quarter to quarter, things like that. And it kind of gives a little bit more clarity to some of the cloudiness that we have with all of these miners, right? We have a lot of data with them and everything else. And these spreadsheets bring that clarity down to a form where we can understand it. We can see what's going on all the miners and compare them all to see which ones are the best ones out of the bunch here. Which ones could be the most undervalued, which ones could be the highest overvalued. And it just helps us tremendously here to see which miners we want to get into. And that's why we do this monthly. We want to track all this stuff happening to see if things are changing. If things are changing, we can always change our positions out in the miners. But right now, I'm happy with where I'm at with the stocks that I do own. I'm going to continue to dollar cost average in as long as they're relatively low before the halving event. Even into the halving event, if that happens, I got patience. You got to have patience in this game with the miners because they don't act the same way as normal stocks. They are highly, well, cyclical for one thing. And then you have the halving events, which cuts their production in half. So they got to be growing before that. You also have the Bitcoin price network hash rate, which has an impact on them as well. There's a lot of variables that obviously pull the little strings, and as far as their profitability is concerned, where the stock might possibly go, things forward. So it's an interesting field, obviously, but it's definitely a lot of data that we got to keep track of to see how they're performing, and this definitely helps out. So I hope you guys enjoyed it on this side. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys agree or disagree. Patreon members will always get these spreadsheets later on tonight, so they'll get the updated information on them as well, and then we'll obviously wait for some of the miners to provide their quarterly results here for Q3. We'll give them maybe till the end of November, something like that. Then we'll do that in December sometime where we actually will grade them on the Q3 numbers and see which ones actually stacked up the best compared to the other ones. Okay? So that's it for that. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin here really quick as well while we're at it, and then we'll call it a day. And hope you guys will have a wonderful weekend here. So Bitcoin here has been doing pretty well this week. So far, it is up right now approximately 6.6% on the week. Some of the miners will do that comparison on either Saturday's video or Sunday's video. We'll do that where we'll compare Bitcoin to Bitcoin miners for the week. But right now, Bitcoin is looking pretty good as it is. We'll have to see if we get a little bit of a pullback. I don't think it's going to happen, at least not yet. We are still seeing the RSI kind of coming down here, but Bitcoin price is actually going up. So that's a good sign there on the 1-day chart. On the 4-day chart, we're seeing the same thing. RSI coming down each time here comes down, and then we go back up in price, so that's good. And the same thing on the 1-hour chart. We see that we get these little peaks here, and we come down a little bit while the price continues to go up, while RSI is going up slower than the price appreciation is. So that's a good sign there as well. So we might be heading up even higher. I'm happy that we got close to 38,000 yesterday. That was my target for the end of the year for Bitcoin earlier this year. We got there. We're possibly going to get above that, which is great. And we'll see where we actually end up at before the halving event. A lot of the miners will need Bitcoin to be at least around 50, 60, 70,000, if not a little bit higher, to be profitable at that time, right? A lot of miners will not be profitable, but we'll have to see where that all takes us, okay? Now, let me see here. Ethereum has been doing really well as well. Ethereum, what's the other one that's doing pretty well? Soluna, I think, is doing really well. I haven't been tracking it because I've been busy with all of the miner stuff, but I believe that one's doing pretty well. So it's nice to see here Ethereum having a nice jump here. On the weekly, it is up also 10%. So it's doing actually better than Bitcoin is right now. So that's kind of interesting to note as well. But that's good. And then let's take a look at the miners here, see what's going on with those guys. The miners had a mixed day today. Bitdeer is bouncing a little bit here. Today, I think it's based on the news that they're going to get into AI. That's definitely driving the stock here today. Let me see here. Cypher was down a little bit more today. Bitfarms was flat on the day. CleanSpark actually ended up on the plus side of the day. It was up earlier in the day and then down. So that's kind of interesting there. Core Scientific was down. DG Host was down. DMG was actually up a little bit. Greenedge was down just slightly. Hive was down. Hut 8 was down. Irish Energy was down. Mara was up again today, 4%. That's a continuation from their quarterly results from yesterday. We got Mawson was down. Rye was up a little bit here today as well. Soluna was down. Stronghold was down. Wolf was up 4.6%, so it had a pretty good day. The ETFs were kind of mixed today. WGMI was up. BITQ was up, or just flat, I guess. DEP and BKCH were both down a little bit here. So it's definitely getting interesting in the space. We do have still a ways to go. Obviously, we still have about 5 months to go before the halving event. So the only thing I can say is be patient. We've seen this before in the last cycle, and I keep harping on this, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here with keep having to say it because people are just panicking out there when they see the miners going down in value. Unfortunately, it's part of the game. Dollar cost averaging if you can, and we'll be in a much better position next year, right around this time, going into 2025 as well. You just got to be patient. And unfortunately, it's the name of the game. Okay, so that's it. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you then.